Welcome back to another episode of Supernatural Japan. I'm your host, Kevin O'Shea, and this week I am thrilled to welcome back guest and writer Phillip Jackson. But this time, we're doing something a little different. We decided to record together in person right in Osaka's famed and gorgeous Utsubo Park. Surrounded by the quiet hum of the city, the very loud sound of the cicadas, and the shade of towering trees, Phillip takes us on a chilling journey into Dark Kyoto. From centuries-old tragedies and unsettling corners of the ancient capital to ghostly encounters whispered about by locals, Phillip shares stories that blur the line between history and haunting. So settle in, because we're about to uncover the eerie side of Kyoto you won't find in the guidebooks. Here we are, another episode of Supernatural Japan, and I'm back with Phillip Jackson, and we're in the same location, I think the same stone that we sat on 2 years ago when we recorded an episode together here in Osaka, Japan. Welcome back to the podcast.
Yeah, we are in the same spot. And
we are.
I can see the mosquitoes are landing on you already, same as last time.
Yeah, that happened. Now, I'm a bit better prepared this time because I do have a bottle of mosquito repellent in hand. So we're back together. We actually, for all you guys out there listening, you'll know that we recorded an episode together just a little while ago where Phillip took me to Mount Oiwa and different places in Kyoto and showed me some cool things. And now we're sitting in a park, beautiful park in Osaka. Where are we right now? Could you paint a little bit of a picture for the listeners?
We're in a place called Utsubo Park. The area of Utsubo is very old, at least up to the 15th century, and after that it was a fish market, and it was given the name Utsubo by Toyotomi Hideyoshi when he came around here. And after the war, Second World War, it was used as an American airstrip.
Yeah, which is interesting because before we got here, I've never been here with my children, and my son is, we're here for a holiday, but he's having a day where he's just playing Xbox all day. He said he needs it to refresh. So I said, yeah, I'm going to a park that used to be an American airstrip, an airfield, and when I showed him like the picture of it, the rectangular shape, he's like, oh, that makes sense, right? It does look like an airstrip.
But now it's tennis courts, an award-winning rose garden.
Yes.
And
which is not in bloom at the moment, unfortunately.
No, it's not. But yeah, it's just a really nice piece of nature in the center of Osaka city. Not too far from Osaka Castle. But yeah, it's nice nature, but very noisy from the cicadas.
Yeah, so there is a bit of summer authenticity. I just put out an episode about the difference, about why summer is spooky season in Japan, whereas in a lot of places in the world, October, fall is spooky season. But definitely one part of summer in Japan is also cicadas. Yeah. And we've got a lot of them right here right now. And we're actually just like, one of the cool things that you pointed out, and we look at the ground, you can see all the holes where the nymphs crawl out of and then, make their way to trees to start the next stage of their life.
And you're more of a nature buff than me. Are these sycamore seed pods?
These trees above us are cedars. So these would be cedars.
Oh, okay.
They're seed pods from cedars, which are one of my mortal enemies during pollen season. But we're okay now. As I sit here spraying more insect repellent on me. But yeah, so we're here today, and for those of you who may not have listened to previous episodes, if you're new to the podcast, Phillip is an expat based here in Japan, and one of the many things you do, you're a musician, you're a lover of cats, and but you're a writer. And right now we're being surrounded by pigeons and birds. So we could be eaten right now. A truly supernatural thing is happening here. But yeah, so you're a writer, and you've written a few books that I've read and enjoyed. Supernatural Japan, Supernatural Kansai, as well as Hidden Path Kyoto. Yeah. And Phil's got a lot of great stories up his sleeve. So I was wondering if he could share maybe some spooky stories with the fantastic people out there.
We've talked a lot about some of the, a lot of the stories that have been in the books before, like we're not too far from the Senichimai department store, which you've featured on the
Yeah, that was
podcast.
episode 1 of the podcast, which
Right.
was, and I that was the, part of me starting the podcast, or part of the inspiration was kind of what you were doing with the books. I've always been a fan of paranormal and spooky things, and of course I've been a podcaster for a long time. I'm not so much of a writer, but I am a podcaster. So you writing Paranormal Kansai was kind of the impetus for me wanting to start this paranormal podcast. And that was one of the first stories I read in your book was about the Senichimai fire.
Yeah, which is not far from here.
Yeah.
So we've gone over a lot of the stories that are in Paranormal Kansai, Paranormal Japan. So what I've been working on recently, which is unfinished at the moment, is a new book called Dark Path.
Oh, okay.
Which basically is inspired by this romanticized image that Kyoto has.
Oh, okay. So you're based in Kyoto, right?
Yeah,
Kyoto's home for you.
And pretty much when you read about Kyoto, it's, tea ceremonies, kimonos, kiyomizudera, the tranquil side of Kyoto. But in reality, Kyoto is a place that's had a lot of battles. It's been burnt down. It's been destroyed. It's been attacked. There's been, over the years, lots of killings, assassinations, military coups. It's a bit of a bloodbath city. Really.
Yeah.
There's one place called Ikedaya, and that's the scene of a battle from the 1860s. Leading up to the Meiji Restoration of 1868. And basically what happened there was some rebels having a meeting in the Ikedaya, which was like an inn, and word got out to the shogun's Kyoto police, the Shinsengumi. They conducted a raid, and the battle went on through the night. Lots of people were killed, and now that location, at one point, it was like a gambling pachinko parlor.
Okay.
And then more in recent years, it got turned into a Shinsengumi-themed izakaya.
Okay.
Which I've been a couple of times. And it was funny, the last time I went there, my wife just looked at me and said, "I've just realized a lot of people died here." I'm like, yeah. He said, "I don't really want to come back here." And even if you walk out of there and go to by the river, on the bridge by the river, Sanjo Bridge, there's the second finial on the west side of the bridge, west-south side, the metal top finial. There's a sword mark.
Oh, really?
Which is from that battle. And you've got tourists walking past and looking out across the mountains north, and people sat by the river drinking and relaxing, and it looks a very nice, peaceful scene. But there's scars left from a very bloody battle there. And that area as well, from there and then heading south down towards Gojo, was an area called Rokujo Gawara, which was an execution site. So in the early 1600s, if you go to the east side of the river, quite often hidden away in the grass, there's a stone with kanji writing on.
Yeah.
And that is a memorial to when 52 Catholics were burnt alive by the riverside.
Okay.
For the crime of being Catholics. Basically, Tokugawa Ieyasu, the shogun, at the beginning of the 1600s, had kind of turned a bit of a blind eye, but his son who took the shogun's title after him, said, no, we're not having that. And they arrested Catholics in Kyoto. There was other places. I think Nagasaki was a famous one.
Yeah, Nagasaki, and like I had a recent episode of the podcast about the Amakusa Islands with the persecuted Christians there, and that was one of the things where there were a lot of missionaries were able to, I guess, work very effectively in the Amakusa Islands, and they were able to convert a lot of people to Christianity and Catholicism. And they say that for a while, the shoguns turned that blind eye, and then eventually they said, no, we're not going to have this anymore. And it got to the point where they were persecuted, thousands murdered, and they would have like secret masses in caves along the coastline. They had to be very secretive about their
And the reason behind the clampdown was that the shogun had sort of said, well, I'm the shogun, everyone has to bow down to me. And when he realized that some of his daimyo or liege lords were seeing him as an underling to their religion, he decided, no, I'm not having that.
Not having that.
But
I'm the top dog here.
So they rounded up the Catholics, they kept them in prison for a while, and then because of the squalid conditions, some of them died in prison, and then they took them to the banks of central Kyoto, Kamagawa. And
so the Kamagawa, that's that main river, one of the things that we constantly talk about in our theme of over-tourism is that tourists, when they come, when they do the golden route, the Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, they tend to all go to the same places, right? And in Kyoto, everyone goes to Gion, everyone goes to that area on the Kamogawa, Kumizadera. But the Kamogawa, and I'm guilty of that too. But 15, 20 years ago when I was first coming to Japan, it was mostly just Japanese tourists there.
It was,
But that's that main river, and the bridge across that, is that the Sanjo Bridge?
Well, you've got a lot of bridges.
Well, I guess suppose there are a lot. It's a long river.
Sanjo, Shijo.
That would be the one. Would that be the one near Gion?
Because then it goes up to you cross the bridge. Sanjo and Shijo are both. I think Shijo is the nearest one to Gion.
Oh, okay.
And then you've got also the new Hard Rock cafes around there as well. So there's new stuff coming.
Oh, there's a Hard Rock cafe there now. I didn't know that.
But also that area around Kiyomizudera, it's all built up now. It's residential areas. But that area from, a lot of the areas around there used to be a gravesite called Torebeno.
Oh, really? Okay.
And it was one of those grave sites where people would just dump the bodies. So there's a lot of paranormal, supernatural stories around that area as well.
Okay, yeah.
Which there's one which I shared some pictures and the story of not so long ago with you, the well.
Oh, okay, yes.
In the Dokudo temple, which is connected to Obon. They have a bell there, and just before Obon holiday, which is the holiday in August, where sometimes gets sort of associated with the Western Halloween, but it's a little bit different in that that's when you welcome back the past ancestors, their spirits come back to visit, and lots of families get together. So at the beginning of that, a week before, they ring the bell. It's called the welcoming bell. And but in the garden of that temple, there's a well which is said to lead down to hell.
Oh, yes. You shared pictures of that before.
The story is that there was a member of the imperial court, a bureaucrat, who by day was helping out the imperial court with all their business, and by night was going down the well to meet up with the Lord of Hell, the God of Hell. Oh wow! Okay. Enma is his name.
Okay.
And help him decide who would go where, because you've got the 6 realms in Buddhism.
Yeah.
Hence the name Roku. But that whole area was a grave site.
Wow. Okay. That's something that they don't really advertise, do they?
No. Which, if anybody has read Paranormal Kansai will have read the story of the ghost candy store,
Oh, yes, yeah.
which is in that area as well. And it's thought that the ghost connected to...
Could you tell us that story?
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
you may have mentioned it before, but it's a great connection. It's a fun story. It's a place you've been, too.
Yeah,
and you've purchased candy there, and you've talked to the owner.
So I went there...
So a ghost candy store right away,
Yeah.
that's almost as intriguing as a haunted toilet that you showed me the last time we hung out.
There is apparently a haunted toilet at the Imperial Palace as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, the ghost candy store... so I went there in springtime. I knew about it before, but I went there in springtime and went in and said, can I buy some of the ghost candy? And started talking in Japanese to the lady behind the counter. And she was very friendly because I was using Japanese.
Yeah.
And she asked me, do you live in Kyoto? And I told her whereabouts I live. And suddenly her eyes lit up. And it turns out that she was from the area where I live.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So they have the bags of candy.
So, yeah, you mentioned you bought ghost candy. So they're marketing this.
Yeah. So she actually gave me some freebie cut-off pieces of candy that they kept under the... So she gave me... I bought...
Is it a very traditional type of Japanese candy?
Yeah, because when my wife tried it, she said, natsukashi, bring us back to memories.
Yeah.
But the story behind it is that hundreds of years ago, the shop owner, one night after midnight, he got a knock on the door and he opened up, and this young lady said, I want to buy some candy. So, okay. She bought the candy and went off, and the next night she came back again.
Okay.
Did the same, and apparently this happened for a few nights, and then he got curious.
Mm-hmm.
So he decided to follow her. And
Which is what one does, when a young girl comes to your candy shop, I wonder where she is from. Maybe I'll follow her. Maybe.
So, you follow the young lady as she goes off.
Yeah.
But she was heading off towards the cemetery, the grave site.
The shop owner noticed that this young woman at night was going to a cemetery.
Yeah. So that cemetery is probably Toribeno, which is the grave site where they would just,
dump bodies.
Dump the bodies, yeah.
So that's near Kumizadera.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A lot of that area. So now you see lots of tourists just walking along, taking photographs, and it's just an old grave site. So
that place, that road that leads up to Kimizadera, where so many people are so excited to go to the Starbucks in Kyoto and get their Starbucks cups and do selfies with them.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, there were bodies everywhere.
There's probably still some graves under the ground there.
Wow. Okay.
So he followed this young woman into the graveyard and saw that she stopped at a particular grave.
Okay.
And then disappeared. So there's two parts to this story now. One is that he went up to the grave and he opened it up and looked and found the body of this young woman in the grave, dead, holding a small child who was sucking on the candy.
Wow.
Another ending to the story.
That's so creepy. That's so creepy. It's a good story.
The other version of the story is that he ran away terrified, went to the local temple, and the next day with one of the, the monks, priests from the temple, they went back and dug up the grave together and found the same scene. And of the boy, the stories kind of imply that the boy was raised either by the shop owner or by the local temple and raised as a monk.
So they found a baby?
Yes.
An actual, a living baby?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they still sell the candy in that shop, and it's labelled. I've got my pack at home.
Yeah.
I'll send you a photograph of it.
Yeah, please do.
So they still
So how long has that shop been there?
Over 400 years.
And has it been in that family for 400 years?
Apparently, yeah. And it's been a candy store, and it's also...
Because I would love to own a 400-year-old candy store, because that would remind me so much of how when we were having our hike up Mount Oiwa, and you were talking about one of the things on that day that you love about like pubs in England is that you have these pubs that have so much history where these pubs are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years old, and maybe at one point, plotters of a revolution or this or that may have been in those pubs, whereas in having a candy shop that's been around for hundreds of years that may have had ghost babies.
There was one pub that I used to go in. I lived in one or two different places. I grew up in North England. Then in my 20s moved down to London.
Okay.
And then between leaving London and moving to Japan, I first came to live in Japan in 2003.
Okay. Yep.
So from 2002 to 2003, I lived in Nottingham, which has got a lot of history connected to the Civil War, the English Civil War. That's where King Charles raised his standard at Nottingham Castle.
Okay, yeah.
So there was a pub called the Salutation, which apparently was the recruiting hall at different points used by both sides.
Oh, okay.
Someone might correct me on that. I'm not very knowledgeable on the English Civil War, but just the pubs connected to it.
Yeah. Nice.
And I've seen there's a YouTube channel called Ghost Theory, and they did an investigation in that pub.
Oh, okay.
And they went to the basement, the cellars underneath, and I believe they actually had like a YouTube channel gathering in the pub. So it was like a party.
Oh, okay.
And they did an investigation in the pub.
Okay.
It was quite an interesting episode.
Nice.
But yeah, there's a lot of Kyoto that, by the river. That's where if someone was executed, then their head would be stuck on a bamboo spike and stuck at the side of the river. So it does amaze me that there aren't so many ghost stories connected to the river, because there's been so many deaths there and so much killing there. But that
maybe ghost stories that are maybe not so well known.
Yeah.
I wonder,
because even in Kyoto, the ghost stories seem to be romanticized.
Yeah. It's kind of like maybe a lot of typical ones. Like I did an episode about Ikuta Shrine in Sanomiya and Kobe, and it was just kind of that very general, the story of Ohime, so kind of a princess who was in love with a man, and the dad was against it.
Right.
So I think the dad killed the lover, so she killed herself, and that very typical kind of story, right?
Yeah.
Very romanticized, but I'm sure most of the deaths were not very romantic.
No.
As I don't think any such thing. I don't think anything is really a romantic death.
But there was one place I went to recently, which is more. It's kind of a mix of the old and the new.
Okay.
And it was a strange one because.
Oh, okay.
It was the only place I've been that's got some kind of paranormal story to it.
Yeah.
Where I felt really uncomfortable.
Oh, okay.
Usually,
I'm curious.
The historical ones, there's always a sort of whether it's an urban legend or a folk tale. There's a paranormal story to hear, but it's an old historical one. So how much has been embellished and things? But this was more of a new one. It's in an area called Iwashimizu Hachimangu.
Okay. That's a mouthful. Yeah. And you said it well.
Which has got a historical site there as well. There's that temple, the shrine there. So I always say temple, shrine, and you sometimes get confused which ones are temples, which ones are shrine. And I'm not a religious person, so I just go to these places. One way sometimes to work it out is...
Well, I guess a temple would be Buddhist, shrine would be Shinto. Yeah. But I also get them mixed up because I'm like, well, Red Torii Gate, not Red Torii Gate. Doesn't have a Torii Gate. My wife keeps correcting me all the time.
And if it's the famous ones, the Buddhist ones, you usually have to pay to go in, and the Shinto ones, it's free.
Yeah.
So I never worked that one out. But anyway, this place, a short walk from the station, there's 2, probably 3 potential paranormal spots in close proximity.
Okay.
So there's an empty old house And when I say empty, maybe Showa era, you know,
Okay.
50s, 60s. Maybe around 50s or 60s.
Like post World War II.
Yeah. And I believe at one point it was like a sort of a hostel place as well. But it was also used as a residential. But it's, from what I found out, it's been empty for at least 10 years.
Okay.
And it's falling down. It looks like there might even have been a fire in there at some point. Now, there's one story to it that the family committed suicide in there. And some people say the spirits of the four family members are inside.
Okay.
I did read that somebody else did some research and managed to get in touch with a family member who said, no, that's an urban legend, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So some people call it the massacre house.
Okay.
There's another story that somebody hung themselves in the bamboo forest behind the house. And also close to it, there's a railway crossing, which the area from there to Hashimoto used to be a red light district.
Okay.
And it was a very big red light district where lots of people came from both Kyoto and Osaka.
Okay.
The laws on stopping prostitution in Japan, I think, were only brought in the early 1950s. So it was a red light district till, quite recent times. But the railway crossing near the abandoned house, apparently there's been a ghost of one of the prostitutes, an apparition has been seen there.
Okay.
But next to the house is some stone steps that go up this hill, which leads to a small mountain.
Okay.
Maybe about the same height as Mount Oiwa that we went to.
Okay.
And that leads to a cemetery. And it's one of those that you can see that maybe some people go sometimes. And it was there where I started walking up the steps, where I just really started feeling uneasy. It was really strange, and I've never had it before.
Okay.
And as I got to the top of the steps and saw the gravestones, it was a really strange feeling, to the point where I actually stopped and kind of asked permission to enter.
Okay.
Because I really felt, this is a bit weird feeling here. And I went in and I looked around.
Yeah.
And there are more paths that carry on up the mountain, which I haven't explored yet, but I want to go back and do that. And again, when I'd left, I stopped and said, thank you for letting me visit.
Yeah. And
as I was walking down the steps, that kind of heavy feeling sort of disappeared. I don't know if it was scary.
Yeah.
Because, I was on my own, and it didn't stop me from going.
Yeah.
But it was just a really sort of heavy feeling, as if I felt I wasn't on my own. And then I got back down to the house, had a look through the windows and things. But it's, if anybody recognizes the location, and I've done a blog on it on the Hidden Path site. Okay. I wouldn't advise trying to go inside. It's in a dangerous condition.
Oh, the house is in a dangerous condition.
Yeah. I've seen some blogs where people have gone there at night. Okay. The YouTubers. Okay. Where they take a group of about 4 or 5.
Like Japanese or foreign or both Japanese. Because, that's the thing. It's not just... I know we mentioned in the episode we did on Mount Oiwa, you were talking about how a foreign YouTuber, a non-Japanese YouTuber, had made a video about that. We talked about how a lot of the kind of urban exploration or Haikyo YouTubers kind of got into paranormal for the clicks. But there's also, in my research for episodes over the years, I found there's like loads of Japanese who blog about this topic and who are into it, who YouTube about it as well, right? Yeah. And I think often those say American or British, maybe YouTubers who do paranormal stuff, tend to try to connect with those guys, the Japanese, to have them guide them when they come here, right? Yeah. They usually have kind of like a paranormal fixer, I suppose. In a way.
Your personal paranormal guide. But yeah, a lot of the paranormal locations in Kyoto tend to be not in the center of Kyoto.
Oh, okay.
It's like the Kiyotaki Tunnel, which is always comes up in the top 10 haunted locations in Japan.
Yeah, okay.
And that's one of those where sadly lots of suicides in the woods. Lots of people died making the tunnel. You've got your long black-haired ghost lady who crawls into your car.
Yeah, with a white dress, potentially.
The tunnel is said to be 444 meters long, which is the kanji for that number can number 4 can also be
death.
Read as same as death. Yeah.
Which is why, for example, like when you get into an elevator in Korea, when I lived in Korea more than 20 years ago, elevators are always 1, 2, 3, F, 5, 6, 7. In Malaysia, where I just most recently lived, of course, there's a huge ethnic Chinese population, and a lot of elevators that don't have the number 4. It's like 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Literally, it's not, and that for that reason, right? It's such an unlucky number.
So there you go. Yeah, the Kiyotaki Tunnel's full of those.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
I'm thinking where else? I think that was the most recent place I've been.
Okay.
Iwashimizu Hachimangu. And interestingly, on the top of the mountain is a kind of monument to Edison. Because Edison, yeah, the maker of
like
the
Thomas
light.
Edison.
Yeah,
really? Okay.
Because
This is the most startling and disturbing thing I've learned. I've heard this evening.
Because the bamboo forest on the mountain.
Yeah.
When Edison was looking for filaments for his lights, he needed something that lasted longer, and apparently somebody in his factory picked up a Japanese fan, used the bamboo, and it lasted longer. So he sent some of his workers to Japan, and one ended up in Kyoto, who was advised to go to, I think, Arashiyama and Iwashimizu Hachimangu, and they found that the bamboo from the forest in Iwashimizu Hachimangu lasted hours and hours and hours longer than anywhere else.
Oh, wow, okay.
So it has this supernatural power to make light bulbs last longer than any
There we
other.
go.
And they used the bamboo from that forest for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Before they moved on to the next level of technology.
Okay.
They have a Edison Festival.
Oh, wow, okay.
One of the streets is called Edison Street.
Wow.
And there's a monument to it.
There you go, folks. The things you learn that are maybe not potentially supernatural, but very fascinating. Yeah. Wow.
So there's a lot of supernatural happenings in that area.
Yeah, it does sound that way. And I think that's when it's just, there's an endless supply, right? Like when you dig, and I think as of the time we're recording right now, today I uploaded episode 54 of the podcast. Episode 55 will come out before this one. And that's one thing I know. I'll never run out of material.
No.
With everything from all of these haunted places to the folklore, the tales, the people you meet, the everything from yokai to the cryptids to you name it. There's so much to talk about, and the festivals, and it really is endless. And every region has so many specific things. I mean, we're just talking about some different areas of Kyoto.
Yeah.
And we can only imagine. We're sitting here in Utsubo Park, and we were just as we were walking, we were like, "Oh, I wonder if there's any haunted stories around here." And we did like a very cursory check. You checked Google, I checked ChatGPT. They said no, but I bet if we checked in Japanese and dug, probably not even that hard, we would find some tales.
I mean, as we said at the beginning, we're not far from Senichimai, the department store. We're not too far from Osaka.
I'm sure there's some kind of Japanese urban legends about this big park in the middle of a city that something happened here, or some kind of crime that resulted in.
That will be the challenge to find something.
In a ghost at night with long black hair and a white dress. But yeah, well, so we're in the midst of being consumed by mosquitoes.
They're even getting me a little bit.
They're even getting you now, and I've been spraying about half a bottle of mosquito repellent on myself. So I think that's always a good time to wrap things up before the little vampires kill us on the spot. But so Phillip, thank you so much for joining us again on the podcast. Yeah. Everyone, go to hiddenpathskyoto.com. Right, that's your website. Yep. Is that right? hiddenpathskyoto.com. And your books, of course, Hidden Paths Kyoto, Supernatural Japan, Supernatural Kansai, and keep an eye on your social media for something else maybe coming out. Hopefully.
I've done the first two chapters of Dark Path, Walking in the Shadows of Kyoto, which is a working title. Nice. So that's something to work on, maybe at the end of the year.
Okay. And you're where can people find you online, like, for example, on social media? You're on X?
X, I nearly said Twitter, X, which I think the handle is @PJacksonMusic.
Okay.
And Blue Sky, the same one, I think, is P. Jackson Music as well. And there is a Hidden Paths Facebook page as well.
Okay, cool. All those places. Check them out, folks. All the links will be in the show notes. Thanks so much for joining us again.
Oh, it's good. It's been a busy week.
It has been, hasn't it? Thank you for joining me and Phillip for this episode of Supernatural Japan. If you enjoyed the stories, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts and leave an amazing review. It helps more curious listeners just like you find us. Now follow the show on social media. All the links are in the show notes, especially Instagram and our Facebook group. You got to go over there. There will be photos that we talked about. There'll be pictures of the ghost candy Phillip talked about, the stairs to the cemetery, and that abandoned, potentially haunted house he talked about in this episode as well. Those pictures will be over there, as well as others. And there's just a lot of fun stuff goes up on the Instagram, so go check it out. That's Instagram.com/supernaturaljapan @supernaturaljapan. Now, if you already follow Supernatural Japan on social media, if you follow me, Kevin, on Blue Sky, on Threads, on Twitter, on Facebook, what you can do to help the show is please repost the links I send out. If I send out a tweet that's got a bunch, or an X post that's got a bunch of information about an episode, please repost it, because that way the people that follow you will discover Supernatural Japan, and that way it's going to help us grow. Now, you can also support the podcast over on Buy Me a Coffee. You can make a one-time donation, or now you can become a member. That's right. Now, if you become a member, you'll have lots of extra fun things to see and listen to. You'll get the exclusive members-only Japan Weird News podcast. That's right. Episode 1 is already up, and Episode 2 will be going up later this weekend. And there's loads of other benefits as well. So check out the link in the show notes over at Buy Me a Coffee. And well, that's it, everyone, for another episode of the podcast. And remember, if you see someone carrying candy into a cemetery at night, it might be best to not follow them.